And we're back. Game number 2 of our first best of 3, not just of the day, but of the entire division. Virtus Pro taking on Alliance. Game 1 was a lot of fun to watch, really. I mean, we had some question marks about the draft at Virtus Pro. They certainly made it work for them early, but in the end, the hard carry Mirana, well, it's not, we'll say it's not advisable, especially against a lone druid handled by Admiral Bulldog who gets a Midas up before you get yours up. That's just not a battle of gold or of hero capability that's usually going to be won. And just short of 50 minutes, VP took the loss. Alliance looking to make it 2 in a row. VP, though, wants to send us to a Game 3, and they're doing so without Solo, who is not going to be playing with Virtus Pro, to the best of my knowledge, at all. Cliff standing in, and really he had a fairly solid Game 1, all things considered. We'll have to see how he transitions and if he's just a temporary member of this Virtus Pro squad for the day, or if he's someone we can expect to see more of in the future. I'll tell you someone you can expect to see here each and every day alongside with me. That's Ben Merlini Wu. And Merlini seeing the bounty hunter first picked up out of Alliance. I mean, if you're gonna pick a bounty, you know what? Go balls out, man. First pick it and say, you know what? I dare you to shut us down. I dare you to not let me get kills.
I think the Alliance is still trying to find what works for them, and they're like still trying out a lot of the things that they ran in 6.78, and most notably, I mean, Admiral Bulldog, his lone druid, still works in 6.79. But what about Bounty Hunter? What about some of the other heroes? One problem with Alliance is that people have tried to ban out Admiral Bulldog, and his hero pool is actually pretty limited. But the hero he does play, he plays like damn well, which is Nature Prophet and the Lone Druid, most notably. So then I think they're trying to like expand his hero pool and trying to just find other heroes that work out for him as well as a team. Bounty Hunter, one of those that are like on the borderline, and this is the second game of best of 3, so I think it's time to try out new things and try and improve as a team. And they could have easily stacked Lone Druid right there if they wanted to, but they don't need to. They need to improve as a team. That's what these tournaments are here for. And then maybe like in the playoffs, you don't go. You just like pick Lone Druid every game if you can. But in terms of like, we're still like very early in the season, at least for the Western Division. This is our kickoff game, and they need to be more flexible. A team like DK, they're not as flexible, and they got punished for being inflexible yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. The seeing the Bounty Hunter pick up, I like that a lot, and it's easy to forget that when Bulldog first really was making his name, before he was known as one of the best, if not the best, offlaners in the world, he was still, people saw him. He transitioned. He was this new pro that everyone wanted to see develop. He played a lot of Bounty Hunter back then, and he played a hell of a Bounty Hunter back in the No Tide Hunter days. So it's not like it's a hero which is foreign to him. It's a hero that he just stopped playing because Nature's Prophet and Lone Druid got to be so damn good that, basically teams they had the choice of either banning those two heroes out and allowing Alliance to take whatever they wanted, which before the nerf was very often an IO, and there's so many other good heroes that Alliance runs. Akash Chen being a good example, EGM's Windrunner being a good example, S4's Puck, and before the nerf, Magnus.
Naga
Siren, Magnus for S4 before Mag kind of got nerfed and really fell out in popularity. So Alliance, this is again the fun thing about a big patch like 6.79 is watching these teams rediscover themselves and rediscover the game and experiment and do things. I mean, who would have thought 2 months ago that Earthshaker was going to be picked and banned in almost every single game in the D2L? I mean, I don't know that there's been a game since 6.79, except maybe on the first day. Maybe there were a couple of games when Shaker wasn't picked or banned then, but since then, he's basically been a mainstay in the top tier. Same with Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden has been picked and banned in most, if not all, major games. And, let's talk about Bad Rider. Where the hell's he? You just don't see the back get any attention anymore. And, that's the fun thing about
that hero. I'm happy to not see him.
And there's a hero we don't see a lot of anymore. Queen of Pain going to be picked up, and Viper going to be the answer coming out of Alliance. So this Virtus Pro lineup has a lot of roam potential. Darkseer, Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden certainly going to be heroes that can get active. DS able to get up a very quick mechanism. Queen of Pain, of course, a gank monster. But this does feel a little bit similar to Game 1. I mean, they're going to have a much more balanced division of damage in terms of AoE, in terms of single target, in terms of lockdown, so on and so forth. But a lot of it is magic damage. They're going to need a very strong physical presence moving into the late game, as Alliance is yet to really show us. I mean, Loda played the farming Viper last game. They're going to have the Bounty Hunter, but I'm anxious to see what Alliance uses to round out their lineup.
I think that even though their draft may be considered like quote unquote bad because they have certain holes in their lineup, I still think it's good in a lot of aspects because they need to win the early game versus Alliance. If you get behind versus Alliance, they're very good at maintaining a lead and not giving up the whole entire game. So if they don't get the early game advantage, they're just going to straight up lose in like 25, 30 minutes, or it's going to be, the gold lead is just going to be unreachable by then. So I think like drafting all out early game with the Queen of Pain, heavy magic damage, and hopefully they can keep Alliance's BKB down is good for development as a team. It might not be like the best draft in well, if if your all your eggs are in one basket, right? If they get BKBs, you lose, or if the game goes on past 30 minutes, you lose. But at the same time, it's not the worst draft versus Alliance, and actually going all out with the late game. A Spectre, a real hard carry.
This is a little worrisome to me. Spectre, she's great in the late game. She is such a weak laner, though. And Windrunner, Rubik's a great roamer. Windrunner, we'll see if that's going to be an S4 Windrunner for the second game in a row. I don't know. It's like, yep, there's a life stealer. So I actually really like that pickup quite a lot. That gives that's going to be low to farming that with S4 taking the Viper mid. I really like that now. That's going to give EGM the Windrunner and Ake on the Rubik with, of course, Bulldog taking the Bounty Hunter elsewhere. Now, the problem I think Virtus Pro is going to run into is you can utilize Spectre very specifically in early fights. You use Haunt to allow her to reality in after maxing Spectral Dagger. You basically use that as one big burst of damage that will allow you to get a kill or to help out on kills, suck up some gold, some experience, and you run back away and go right back to farming. The problem is, with the Bounty Hunter on Alliance is going to be able to trade even or even lose some of these fights and still break even. So it's not only a situation where Virtus Pro is essentially running a pure 4 Protect 1 with a little bit of offensive potential on that Spectre, just not a lot, but they're doing it against the team that so long as Bulldog gets a quick 6, gets active, especially if he gets a quick 11, and is able to have level 2 track available to him at a decent clip, with the early and mid-game power of a Viper, with the power of a Nakes to begin getting active in fights very early if he wants to, they're going to have to really be surgical. And again, much like Game 1, they can't really afford to make a lot of mistakes. And that's where we saw the wheels come off the wagon in Game 1. They played an excellent early game. They took a lot of towers. They were out-positioning Alliance. But after they lost 1 or 2 engagements, Alliance just all of a sudden had the ability to set the tone and set the pace of the game from that point on. And they're in real danger of allowing that to happen if they don't really maximize all of this gank potential, all of this roam potential early on.
Yeah, I think that they have a lot of damage, though, with the Ion Shell on Spectre, and it's something that I've seen before, and it's something that's actually, I think, pretty underrated. Spectre doesn't really pack a punch, maybe until he gets his, Diffusal Blade. I mean, even with Phase Drums, he's just, slightly annoying, but he doesn't actually, own heroes. But with Ion Shell and with that extra move speed from Spectral Dagger and the Phase ability, he can just stick on the targets very easily and just do so much damage. And I think that they will have enough damage if they utilize it like that. And Light of Heaven. Oh, they use a dust already, but that is just a wasted dust.
Yeah, had a little bit of a over-aggressiveness there coming out from AA, but as the lanes take shape, let's run through our lineups. We're going to have Viper taken mid by S4 this time around. Rubik going to be handled by Ake. Lifestealer will be played by Lodi. He'll be farming up out of the safe lane. Going to have EGM on the Windrunner. Love to watch.
Bulldog, don't miss the first blood, possibly.
Manages to make it away. They actually have dropped the sentry
first.
Yep, they have actually used the sentry and a dust already, trying to kill off Bulldog and unable to do so. But a little bit of trade in the paint. Down at bottom, it's going to be Cliff using the Darkseer up against Loda and Ake, so should be fairly safe for him so long as he doesn't allow himself to be caught out. But winding things out, Bulldog, very close to dying, made it away intact on the Bounty Hunter. We'll have NS playing on our Earthshaker this time around, while God goes one-on-one with S4 on the Queen of Pain. Darkseer, played by Cliff, the stand-in in Solo's absence. Light of Heaven trying to farm up this Spectre, and of course AA going to be jungling along with NS, trying to get this Crystal Maiden as relevant as she can be, keep her on par with levels, on par with gold, and probably build a Midas, because that's just what you do now, And now EGM blocked out. Very nice fissure from NS. There's a Spectral Dagger to follow it out. The fissure is still there for a while, and we can see the point into Desolate paying dividends, unfortunately, unable to pursue her out. Spectral Dagger, not enough mana for it to cool down a little too long anyway, but a little bit of free damage.
Yeah, very unusual dual lane, but EGM managed to get a lot of experience too. Admiral Bulldog not dying, wasting a lot of their gold too. Let's see, he's wasted 290 gold with detection thus far. So their supports are going to be very, very poor, especially without first blood to their name. And they're trying to creep pool, but Admiral Bulldog is already there, just chilling, leeching that XP. Glorious, glorious XP.
Yep, he's actually quite far behind in that regard. He had to run all the way back to the well and hang on. Cliff might be in some trouble here. Ake has gotten behind him, and he, well, nope. Thought they might telekinesis and go for an open wounds. Maybe Loda, nope. Loda does have it skilled, but I guess just not wanting to waste the mana this early on, taking a little bit of free harass instead.
Yeah, he has early boots. I think they could have gone on him, just open wounds, and then if he telekinesis, or if he surges, then immediate telekinesis out, and then try and chase him down, maybe with some nice body blockage. He actually had one skill point saved up. He was only 0-1-1, so he could have gotten level 2 surge, and that probably would have saved him in case they did try to do that. But at least he'd had level 2 surge. It's worth the mana to just make him use a lot of regen too. He's almost out.
Light of Heaven taking a little bit of abuse here, but Bulldog still not even level 2. EGM very close to level 3, and this is very good for Virtus.pro. The fact that Bulldog is going to be slow to 6. I mean, we're 3 minutes in, and he's only halfway now, finally sucking up some XP under the tower. That's what he really needed. So
I think it's okay. It's okay for Admiral Bulldog to be underleveled as long as the supports are underleveled too. You can't be an underleveled bounty hunter versus an overleveled Earthshaker and Crystal Maiden, but they just at level 2. They're actually just leaving Light of Heaven out alone. He's level 4 right now. Admiral Bulldog, he has boots. He's looking around. He's like, where are the supports? They know something's up. Look at S4. He should just stay. He can't like really go up past this line. They should know something's up because Admiral Bulldog is just in their jungle, just doing absolutely whatever he wants.
Taking a look at the early CS, 17 for Loda, topping the board. Viper's right there as well, though. So matching. Oh wow! Just for the first time, glanced at how badly God is getting beaten by Viper right now. He's very nearly doubling him up. Actually, 19-10 now. So some great play coming out of mid. We're going to see Light of Heaven and Bulldog trading blow spectral daggers there. No detection, so no way to follow that out. Bulldog up. Wow, they actually got another dust
vision of him with a dagger too. You can see the trail.
Yeah, that's a little bizarre. Just a mental misstep there, and more gold wasted.
Yep, that make that 380 gold wasted. So I mean, CM has boots, but level 2, she's just gonna be absolute food for Lifestealer later, and Viper, to be honest. And Bounty Hunter if he actually picks up some levels. He's doing a good job, though, of keeping the supports busy. And CM and Earthshaker, they're very good at getting a lot of experience. Earthshaker being able to pull very, very often, pull Ancients too, and Crystal Maiden being able to creep to the large camp. But they're suffering very heavily in terms of experience. And this 2-on-3 situation is working out very, very well for Alliance, only because they've narrowly escaped death twice, though.
Yep. And Bulldog treading that fine line. He's level 2.5 right now. Cliff continuing to do his job down here as well. He's just now level 5, right on par with the Lifestealer as well. Ake doing a good job of soaking XP, though. He's going to be a level 4 very soon. So coming out with a 1 versus 2 where the carry and the offlaner are both even, plus a support that's almost level 4. Certainly a big win there. And we'll actually take a look at the experience. And yeah, that's, oh wow. S4 actually managing to get a first blood here on the Queen of Pain. Not the kind of thing you expect to see. And God really just being bullied around. S4 winning big in CS and winning big now with a death. Yeah. It's that's just kind of bizarre. Looks like God is really just not as comfortable on Queen of Pain as he would like to be.
You pick Queen of Pain to dominate your lane, not to give up first blood. And he did very well on the Death Prophet last game, so I'm actually surprised that he dropped that early kill, but he's very far behind. He's level 5 versus S4 was level 7.
And yeah, S4 sitting at 26 CS. Loda's certainly in good shape. Darkseer with 15 CS. Loda, what does he have on the way to him right now? He's got his Hand of Midas recipe. No big surprise. So we'll be seeing Loda going with
really
the Midas
approach. Darkseer, though. It'll help you. It'll help your lane control out a lot.
Yep. I actually like that a lot in this situation. Lifestealer is one of those heroes who, you know, his mid-game potential was great, but he could still peak very early on in the mid-game. With a very quick Midas. And then Midas coming out at 6 minutes. That's nothing to shake a stick at. And we're going to see Cliff actually tossed up to the Ancient Camp. The Illusion Rune will be picked up by God nonetheless, though.
Nope, it's going to be denied by Aki. What a support player right there. Wasting a lot of Cliff's time and wasting a lot of God's time and denying the Rune. EGM already has Arcane Boots. This is a 2-on-3 situation. You can't give EGM that much farm.
And the Fissure off the mark on EGM. Able to get the wind run off before in any real trouble. He's got his arc boots up, but no mana, at least at the moment. Going to have to play carefully. And Virtus Pro's had enough of this tandem of Bulldog and EGM so far. This is going to be a level 6 EGM very soon. Bounty is halfway to 6, sitting at level 3.
Yeah, and they're trying to go on EGM, but they're going to have a tower die for this one.
And, nice frostbite on Bounty Hunter. Able to bring him down. EGM did manage to make it away. The dust went off just to be safe. So
looks like G is coming around from behind, though.
And here we go. There we go. God looping around.
Sonic wave there.
Exactly.
I think he just wants to get back in the game, though. He needs kills to get back in. He cannot get in the middle either, because S4 has just been absolutely manhandling him.
Up at top, they might decide to go ahead and push off of this. Light of Heaven. His CS is not that great, sitting at 22. He's at half of Loda right now. Loda already with a Midas up. That's problematic. Viper Strike onto God. Might be in trouble. He already blinked. Doesn't have mana. That's going to be another death. So he dives EGM and comes back to mid and just gets way too aggressive and gets picked off. So easy to underestimate just how dangerous an overleveled Viper can be. But God's getting a first-hand lesson thanks to S4.
Yeah, he needs a TP scroll. If you ever get in trouble versus Viper, just blink TP out and then just go gank another lane. Like, he should not be returning mid if he even thinks he's going to be able to die. He cannot afford to give up that many more deaths. The only person with kills on Alliance though is S4, but they're doing very well in their other lanes. Like as you said, Loda just absolute free farm on bottom. He took a lot of damage from that. Force of Pop is infest right there.
And looks like, Bulldog and EGM continuing to really apply decent pressure up here. So far, Spectre is going to have to bail out.
He might die. Oh, I thought he was about to die again.
Not quite. For the moment, Bulldog, though, is coming up on level 4. Still waiting for his level 6. S4 sitting at 47 CS, has treads up. And what's he have on the way to him? He's actually got a headdress up already, so making very good progress towards that mechanism. Mech going to come out fairly early on him unless something tragic befalls him. Means they're going to be able to get out and really start putting this team fight composition together very early.
Spectre with phase boots, he has a ring of health, but it's not going to be a Midas rush, not going to be a diffusal rush either. Does he really have enough damage later? I don't really know. I don't think Spectre's that great versus Viper or versus Lifestealer. I think he's good versus some carries. Like, oh, looks like we see a push in mid already.
Yep, they're going to try to dive S4. Cliff rotating over. There's the surge and the reality on top of S4. Fissure's there. This will be a good kill for them to grab. Holding him down a little bit. In the meantime, EGM continues to suck up experience and levels unabated. Same with Loda. So they managed to take a pretty big kill there. If they get the tower, this might be worth it. They have a glyph if they want to spend it. And Bulldog's in range. He's still just at level 4. Looks like, yeah, they are rotating. There's the glyph. Here comes a little help from Ake as well as EGM making his way down. But Loda just continuing to farm freely. They're getting things done, but they're doing it at a definite cost. There's a power shot that might be enough to scare them away. And is there going to be a deny attempt? Nope, they're just going to go ahead and give it away. There's a fissure now. Loda comes in. AA going to be blown up immediately. There's open wounds on the God. That's going to force the blink. So they end up bringing down the tower, but it did cost them at least one hero kill. And in the meantime, S4 finding farm at top.
They should not have been able to get that tower. EGM could have TP'd to the T2 and just spam power shot, and then their push is done. They don't have a mech. They don't really have anything really. And Admiral Bulldog was there on time, but he can't really do anything. He's just a level 4 bounty hunter with like not even phase boots up. So I think EGM could have TP'd. He already has arcane boots, and they could have just not given VP the free tower in mid. Not the biggest loss, but still just giving VP a little bit more than they should have gotten. They used a lot of ultimates on S4 2 using Haunt and Wall unnecessarily. So if they really wanted to take a fight, I think they would have traded very poorly.
Light of Heaven continuing to try to find his farm, but still sitting at just 26 CS. You take a look at the kills, though. He's making up a little bit of ground there, sitting at 2-0 to lead things off. S4 certainly off to a good start. Just finished his buckler, now only 700 gold away from that mechanism. And that's going to be the big test for Virtus Pro. Can they stem the tide when mech comes out? And how early?
They have two bucklers, though. One's on Windrunner and one on Viper. Are they going double mech?
A pipe, I think, would make a considerable amount of sense against this team. So maybe
I think it would too, but double buckler.
Yeah, it's I honestly don't know. Bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah, they don't stack anymore.
Yep.
Not with a mech. Anyways.
Well, we'll see.
I expect someone will sell it.
So a bit of a mistake there, but Light of Heaven continuing to just work his way up. Does have the Ring of Health up. As mentioned, the game remaining pretty stable. Loda has slowly but surely chipped away this bottom tower. It's got it down to about 1/5 health, give or take. Bulldog now getting closer to level 6, though. Up atop, we might have a big attempt on S4, and S going to show his face. Fissure will barely catch him. Spectral Dagger's there as well. Can they catch up with him? There's the reaction out of Ake, though. And that'll be enough to turn that around. Rotation out of Bulldog as well. So missed opportunity there for Virtus Pro.
Yep, they're already level 6 on Aki though, so things are working out well for Alliance. The kill score is even, but the gold is heavily in favor of Alliance. And yeah, VP might have better late game because of a Spectre, but not when he's just underfarmed. He has to rotate with his team a lot. He's been involved in every kill though on the side of VP, 2-0-1 on Light of Heaven, so already a more active hero on a typically like more farmy hero than Bottom 2. So a little bit surprised to see him pick up that many kills.
We see a smoke gank attempt in mid as they rotated forward. In the meantime, Loda manages to bring down the tier 1 completely uncontested. So Virtus Pro, again, with this roam-centric lineup, and this is how we knew they would play it. Start to roam these heroes, start to move them around, and then if you need Spectre to come in, she can haunt in, use Max Spectral Dagger for a nice little bit of burst and get herself out of trouble, especially since she can continually haunt now so long as the illusions are active. But Loda is making good progress towards his armlet, already has up the Helm of Iron Will, and yeah, might have pieces of it on the way to him right now. So up atop, looks like Alliance wants to push the tier 1 there as well.
Yep, and Light of Heaven farming away. I mean, is he going to start fighting a lot with his Vanguard? Is he going to get drummed early and fight a lot too? Oh, there's the haunt.
Haunt onto Alliance. Let's see where they're going to go. They're going to try to catch EGM out in mid. There's a shackle that locked down a couple. Wall goes down, but now S4's there. Power shot. Here comes God in with the Scream of Pain. And Ake's there to catch out God. They're going to end up trading away the Queen of Pain for the Windrunner. Up atop, Bulldog might be in some trouble. He's going to try to TP out. No Frostbite, so nothing they can do. NS didn't have the cooldown. Didn't have Fissure off cooldown, so unable to stun him out. Not the best trade there for Virtus Pro. You don't want to be giving away your Queen of Pain. Loda, by the way, is gigantic, sitting at 6,700 net worth. And an armlet that is now done. It should be on the way to him, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it is. So he got a Midas up and still has an armlet up at 13 minutes.
He is super stacked right now. They can't really do anything about it either. They're trying to force him to fight a little bit, but I mean, he's ready and willing. He's
Here we go.
Admiral Bulldog.
Yep, gonna move in. Shackles there, Light of Heaven, locked down, and out he comes. There's gonna be the open wounds. No ulti to get him out of trouble. There's just a catch out. Or Frostbite on EGM, and that looks like AA will be able to make it away, but off of that, they may be able to push this top tier 1. And being able to pick the Spectre off in and of itself, quite a huge deal. S4 wasn't even there for that, and he's the mech carrier, so he's going to rotate up, spot an illusion rune on the way. Don't know there's a whole lot God and NS can do. God's sitting at just level 9 right now, and you compare that to EGM, who's basically on par with him, and EGM was in a duo lane. God has just not had a good game, too.
If they have like a really nice Fissure and Sonic Wave and Scream of Pain combo, they can pick out the 2 supports, but that's still pretty risky.
Fissure gonna knock down EGM. There's a shackle that pauses but doesn't latch. Bulldog's right there on God. There's a vacuum that catches a couple. S4 has mech ready to go when he wants it. There's the Viper Strike. Ulti spent from God, but accomplishing nothing. Loda right on Cliff, and he might be able to make it away and will. No, the power shot launched by EGM. Sniper shot for all it's worth. There's a shackle on the AA. This is going to be a complete disaster for Virtus Pro, and this game may already be getting away from them as Alliance loses no one. They're going to take the tier 1. Spectre and Queen of Pain both dying in that ensuing engagement, and the gold certainly getting out of hand. We're at 7,500 net worth lead, Merlini, going the way of Alliance, and we are at 15 minutes in. This is going to be tough.
Light of Heaven's having trouble finding farm anywhere too. As soon as he TPs to a lane, Loda just armlets and rages on him, and he's forced to go back home. So they need items up on Spectre, but I don't know where he's going to find any farm. They lost the T1 on top. That's half your jungle control gone. Earthshaker not level 6 yet. Crystal Maiden just at level 6, but they're just food for Bounty Hunter and Lifestealer right now. I mean, when you have a Lifestealer this farmed and a Viper who already has a mech and 2,300 gold who shut down your Queen of Pain in mid, what do they really have to create space? Yep. G just keeps on dying. He needs to find farm too, so they're caught like in a really hard place right now. They need farm, but they also need to catch up on kills because Lifestealer is just going to outfarm them. Viper already really farmed too, so they I don't really know what VP is supposed to do right now. They can't really push S5. They can't outfarm them, and we just saw what happens when they try and take an engagement. So They just need to pick smart fights, I guess, to just wait for Alliance to possibly overextend at a tower, maybe bait people out. But the problem is they don't really have a good solution to a Lifestealer bomb.
Well, when you look at Alliance's squad, it's a very forgiving composition if they do overextend. Viper, tough to track down because of corrosive armor. Of course, the Infest on load up. Hang on, there's a Shackle, not going to catch Cliff. They do get the tower, and now they're going to try to initiate off of the Haunt. AA is tracked out, but doesn't matter. They take the free tower. But yeah, I mean, Shadow Walk on Bounty Hunter, EGM with Windrun. Alliance can play rather risky with this composition, and for the most part, unless Virtus Pro is just on the money with every single ability, they're going to have a good chance of getting away. And that really suits the playstyle that's predicated on a Bounty Hunter. I mean, Bulldog level 8 now, didn't have the best start, but a lot of this comes down to two things. God's poor performance in mid, and the fact that Spectre is just not that solid of a laner that allowed EGM and Admiral Bulldog to get a much better start than they really had any business having, given how much attention they were given. And now they're just kind of snowballing that out of control.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't get anything out of their tri lane. They got like a little bit of experience, but Alliance got way more out of their other lanes. So the laning phase went poorly for VP, and they're really paying for it right now. Cliff is doing decently though, 0, 1, and 2 versus a dual lane. So that's pretty much the best that you can ask for. He already has his mech up, so he's not doing poor in that aspect. Looks like Windrunner has sold her headdress and is going for a pipe instead.
Yep. EGM. Thinking maybe 2 bucklers not the best idea. We're at 8-4. 12 kills in an 18-minute game, but now Bulldog and Loda going to find another kill. That's going to be a track kill. This is just, I mean, you hate to sound fatalistic. This is just not the situation you can afford to be in against this kind of a composition, especially whenever you...
Admiral Bulldog going for the chicken kill.
And nope. But whenever you're up against this kind of a team with a Bounty Hunter, with load up, now Cliff going to be put on the cliff, and he's going to be forced to TP out, so... little bit of damage. Okay, giving him a pat on the back. Light of Heaven will be able to snag a DD. Throws out the Spectral Dagger. They're going to engage onto S4. And the Sonic Wave Smith, just look how survivable he is. They're going to kill Light of Heaven if they're not real careful. S4 still alive. There's a mech and a Shackle. Nice vacuum into the wall, but the pipe there to help mitigate some of that damage. Open wounds on the AA. Loda simply gives no F words that I don't want to say in a family-friendly stream. Just completely... manhandling this, and yeah, I mean, Loda gets a double kill. God can do nothing but blink away and hope at this point. And they managed to track Spectre down as well, so I don't know what they can do. I mean, I really don't know how they can take these fights. That's as bad a catch-out as they're ever going to have on S4 in this game. He was dead to rights, and they just didn't have the firepower.
Yeah, this is why Viper is such a strong hero. Oh, it looks like Cliff is probably going to get chased out. He has Surge, though. He should be okay. There's drones, though. They're hot on his tail.
Loda right behind him. There's the Surge wearing off. And tries to vacuum them to the high ground. NS trying to bail his buddy out, but unfortunately now not done. Going to go ahead and engage onto AA. Has Rage in 10 seconds. Just doesn't care. Again, so survivable. The movement speed from the Yasha on top of the phase boots, allowing him to dart in and out.
He's pretty much at haste with phase boots.
Yep.
But yeah, they went on Viper, but we just saw how tanky Viper is. That was with a DD Spectre attacking Queen of Pain, unloading her ultimate too. And they weren't able to kill S4 for like 20 seconds with the help of a pipe and a mech. And that's without him spending his gold. Now that he actually has a point booster up, like, how is he actually going to die? And Viper is just such a ridiculous hero. I think his Crosa skin's a tad bit too strong personally, but he's just ever so annoying to play against.
And there's a Vlad's coming out on Bulldog as well. The items just continuing to pile up for Alliance. And top 4 on the board in net worth, all Alliance. At this point, the Spectre is being out-farmed by the Bounty Hunter, who was level 1 at 4 minutes into this game. That's how bad this game has come off the rails for Virtus Pro. And, you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, Spectre is not a hero that really can play that well from behind. I mean, she has an escape mechanism, a way to bounce around the map if needed, but she needs such a massive amount of farm that she has to stay on par with the enemy carrier, or she will just get run over before she's able to hit her peak. And Loda at this point with a Basher, a Yasha, an Armlet, phase boots, his movement speed, his attack speed, his ability to lock heroes down.
What doesn't he have?
Yeah, exactly. It's just through the roof. And yeah, that's to say nothing of the Midas, so... here we go. Cliff, able to surge himself away. Loda leading with the nose. And up, hang on. Going to go ahead and engage on the AA, blowing him up immediately. In the meantime, Cliff tracked out, pursued out. Here comes Spectre in to try and help out. God's going to move in. There's the pipe from Ake, and stolen immediately away, turned against him. Loda's going to re-engage, and God cleaned up with one last swipe. drums the pickup on Spectre amidst this. Shackle will connect. Cliff takes a power shot and a couple of claws in the back. That's a triple kill going the way of Loda, and they're not done. Now engaging with open wounds on the NS. There's the shuriken toss, power shot, and Light of Heaven might get dove past the tier 4s. Not quite, just past the tier 3s. 17-6. Loda feels invincible. EGM on the money with every single ability. Mech plus pipe equals win. And this probably on its way out. 12,000 net worth lead currently for Alliance. The experience right there as well. We're just 22 minutes in.
I think that if other teams are going to draft well versus Alliance, they need to ban out or pick Viper. S4 just like completely shut down Gods. Like Gods 4, 5, and 1. He's like getting some kills, but he's dying. He's not even going to get like a 30-minute orchid at this rate. So I think that's a really problematic hero for a VP. Lifestealer is Lifestealer. You need certain heroes to deal with them. I don't think that they have like the right line to deal with him, but he's not the. I mean, he is their biggest problem right now.
Loda going to engage out. There's a surge on the AA. Mech going to get him back up and find him, but Loda moving so damn quickly. And now God locked down and bashed. There's a vacuum catching Loda and S4. Infest out, resets the fight. Echo Slam did nothing. Absolutely nothing to bounce that off of. And S4 notching a double kill as they take the tower. This pipe pickup becoming quite a big deal. And as our great stat man Nahaz has been showing, it's kind of a rarity on professional windrunners, and maybe it shouldn't be. She has quite a good record, and we're seeing why here. There's Viper grabbing up the scepter as well, so don't know that it's really going to matter. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a GG come out very soon.
Yeah. Or G.
I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, and there's NS getting bashed, four-shotted by Loda, and buyback on the Queen of Pain. Basically just... I mean, at this point, God has got to be so frustrated. I mean, he's doing the best he can. He was in a tough matchup in mid, had a bad start. Now he's going to be caught with the fissure that was stolen by Rubik. And EGM playing quite chest out as well in the end, though. The rack's going to end up dropping very easily. Sub 24-minute racks. The gold, the experience, by every metric, Alliance utterly out of control. Cliff going to be tracked out. No surge because of the bash. There's mech and pipe used. Down he goes. God going to be caught by yet another Fisher. Ake going to lift him. In the meantime, AA being tracked out all the way back to the well. Same with the Shaker. GG called. 24-6. Look at the gold. They racked up 1,000 gold lead per minute rate by the time all was said and done here, Merlini. Don't know that we've seen Alliance or anyone look quite this good in D2L play so far. And quite an impressive win. I mean, Game 1, Virtus.pro hung around and certainly made a series of it, but Game 2, all Alliance all the way.
Yeah, they realized their problem with their first game. Hey, we don't have late game. They pick late game, and they just get stomped in the early game. So lose-lose situation for VP, unfortunately.
That one's in the books. And really, what else can you say? You can run through the stats and see just how dominant performance it was. 13-0 on Loda. Got his minus up very quickly and never looked back. 706, 707 GPM and XP per minute, respectively. Compare that to poor Spectre. 268 and 218. Light of Heaven trying to farm up these heroes. Just unable to find his rhythm, unable to find his stride in Game 1 or Game 2. 0-5 on NS. NS, by the way, was level 6 by the time all was said and done. Level 6. Crystal Maiden just at 0-6 as well, and level 7. Just this lineup worked about as we thought it would. Bulldog with track gold and everything else. The lineup built around that. Really like the pipe pickup on the Windrunner as well. We knew how much magic damage Virtus.pro was going to have, but the 4 Protect 1 falls apart whenever your mid Queen of Pain is unable to be more of a factor. 23 minutes, 53 seconds, the official game time. 25-7, the final kill score. Alliance takes the first win here in Western Division play here at the HyperX D2L. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. Merlini going to be back with me for our second series of the afternoon. Now, don't forget, at this point, I can't even say second series of the day because we've got Na'Vi taking on Mousesports coming up next. That'll be our second and final broadcast for the Western Division play today. But depending on how long that series goes, somewhere between 2, 3, 4 hours after that. Merlini, myself, and of course, Conrad. Love you, Conrad. Heart to you. Of course, going to be back to bring you Eastern Division play as well. The Eastern Division certainly down to the meat and potatoes now. The teams have shaken themselves out. You can find all the information about both divisions over at d2l.gg. The Western Division just kicking off with this opening series and now ready to get Na'Vi in action as well. You can find our Twitter addresses right there. Yep. So make sure you check us out there. You can find D2L on Twitter as well. So if you go to d2l.gg and look up D2L GG on Twitter, for all of your updates regarding D2L action here in the HyperX D2L. I think I said D2L too many times that time. Anyway, not sure how long we have, probably about an hour, give or take. So if you want to bounce over, yep, according to Conrad, to Sesh, got about an hour to go. I think Dreamlink is starting soon, so make sure you give those guys some views. Yep, make sure you check those guys out. Much love to all of them. Really love Drasko, of course, and everyone else. So in the meantime, check out what they've got on offer. Hope to see you back, though, for Navi taking on Mouse about 60 minutes from now. Until then, guys, stick with us and enjoy some Dota. Hell, go play a game of Dota. That's always fun. Get rares the old-fashioned way. Grind battle points. We'll see you in a minute.